Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm doing a primer collection, also a declutter. I figured I'd go through all my primers and show you what I have and also get rid of some that I'm not using. I've been really enjoying watching declutter videos on YouTube lately and figured I should film one myself. So if you like this type of video, please give it a thumbs up so I know to continue doing this. And my next declutter, I'll do these two foundation drawers. In no particular order, I'm just going to go ahead and start off with my primers. I'm showing you the Too Faced Hangover RX Replenishing Face Primer. You guys know if you watch my channel recently that this is currently one of my top favorite primers, if not my favorite, because it adds some hydration to my skin. So I'll definitely be keeping this one. As you can see, I've gotten a ton of use out of it. Probably need to order a new one soon, but I love this primer. Another primer that is very similar to the Too Faced one that I have also been loving. I actually didn't care for this too much when I first received it, but since it's winter, I actually really like it. So that's the same thing with the Too Faced one. I kind of overlooked it, but these two primers work really well for my skin because it is dry. And this is the Marc Jacobs Invisible Undercover Perfecting Coconut Face Primer. This one is a little bit more pricey compared to the Too Faced one. Both do the exact same thing. So I would just sooner repurchase the Too Faced one because it is more affordable. But this one is also a great option. Moving on to some drugstore primers, I have the Maybelline Master Prime. They have the Blur and Redness Control, the Blur and Illuminate, and the Blur and Smooth. As you guys know if you watch my channel, I love the Blur and Smooth. And I'm sure these both are really great as well. However, I don't need all three of them. So I'm just going to keep the Blur and Smooth, and I'll pass both of these along. I'm going to talk about some MAC Prep and Prime products, things I use as primers that could also just be moisturizers as well. This is the Moisture Infusion. I bought this because I kept hearing such good reviews on it. I've used about to here, if you can see that. And I do like it. I don't use it enough, so I'm going to set this aside to use more often because it is winter. I think this would be really good for me right now. Another one from MAC is the MAC Mineralize Time Check Lotion. And I purchased this to use in my kit for those clients who had oily skin. However, I'm not freelancing currently, so I'm going to actually pass this along. Another MAC Prep and Prime product. This is the Essential Oil Stick. I recently hauled this, and I love this primer. It is their essential oils, but in this balm texture, and it's really good if you have intense dry patches. This has been working out really well for me, especially when I had a little reaction going on my skin. This is the best thing to smooth out those areas on your face, so I'd highly, highly recommend this one, and I'm definitely keeping it. Another MAC Prep and Prime product is their Natural Radiance Primer. This is the yellow tone one. I probably have about 2 uses left in this, so it's pretty much empty. So I definitely like this. Will 100% repurchase at a later date. It's one of my favorite primers. I'm almost done, as I said, so I'm going to use up what's left and then back to MAC the empty packaging. This is definitely a favorite of mine, and I've repurchased this many times. Then here is the MAC Prep and Prime Essential Oils, just the regular oil. You can see I have very, very little left in this. I like to mix this in with my foundation just to add a little bit more glow. I only have maybe a couple uses left. Then I can back to MAC this as well. Definitely recommend the essential oils, though I do prefer the stick now that that has come out. This is a new product I got last week. I haven't even shown this in a video yet. It is the MAC Strobe Cream, and this is the gold tone one. It's called Gold Light, and I love this. This is what I've been using underneath my Maybelline Cushion Foundation to help it stick to my face a little bit better. It's the only thing that I've found that actually helps that foundation, which I love, last a little bit longer because that foundation doesn't last very long on its own, though I love how it looks. So this has really been helping out with that. I love the color of this. I'm not sure if you'll be able to see, but I'll try and swatch it for you guys. So it has a slight gold sheen to it, which is so beautiful on the skin. They have a bunch of different colors. They have peach. They have their regular strobe cream, which I'm going to be talking about shortly. But this is the gold one, which I love more than any of the other ones. So I'm going to show you the original one. I'm definitely keeping this because I just got it. The original one It's actually cheaper to buy in this travel size, the 30 milliliter, instead of the full size. This one has just your standard pearlescent sheen to it. Love this as well. I don't have too much left in this really, so I'm going to use this up. I won't repurchase this one though because I do much prefer the gold, but I do recommend checking out the shades in this if you're curious. Moving on to a high-end brand, we're going to talk about Hourglass. I have the Veil Mineral Primer Oil Free. Love this stuff, definitely will be keeping it. It's great for smoothing out the skin, and I do find this helps prolong the look of my foundation, helps it look a little bit better. It's very smooth in consistency. It is quite pricey. I would definitely recommend getting a sample of this just because it is more on the pricey side, but everyone I know who's tried this loves it. This is great for bridal makeup, I feel. So that's definitely a must-have for me. And then I also have the Hourglass. This is a smaller bottle. This is their number 28 primer serum, and this is very, very, very slippery. This is geared towards those with dry skin. However, I actually felt that this was too much for my skin. Even this small little bottle is actually quite pricey. I'm actually surprised this didn't work out for me just because I do have dry skin, but it was just too much for my skin. I found it made my foundation slip a little bit when I applied this to my skin, so I'm going to be passing this on to someone I feel who can use this. Now we have the very popular Nivea Men Aftershave Balm for sensitive skin. I used this maybe once or twice on my channel, and it did work. However, I feel like there's better drugstore options, and this has a very strong manly scent to it, which I do like, but just not on my face personally. So this does work. I just haven't used it too much, but I feel like someone else can better use this. This is very affordable if you're looking for something cheap. It has glycerin in it. It is the #1 ingredient on the bottle, and that's what helps your makeup stick. So that's why a lot of people use this as a primer. Super inexpensive, but I am going to be passing this along. It's pretty heavy, bulky packaging. It's just taking up room, and I just feel like someone else can better use it. If you follow me on Snapchat, then you have seen this recent drugstore primer purchase. It's from the brand Joe Fresh. I picked this up at Shoppers Drug Mart, and it is an illuminating primer with long wear, smoothing, and radiant finish. This comes in multiple colors. I have the shade Champagne, if you can see that, and this is so beautiful on the skin. I did put quite a bit. It just gives the most beautiful finish to the skin. I think Champagne matches my skin tone perfectly. And imagine this on your face. I plan on using this in an upcoming tutorial. I think I'm going to do a first impression video tomorrow, film that, and showcase this in that video. I know I'm going to get questions. My watch is from Daniel Wellington. I think I've mentioned this a ton of times on my channel already. However, they gave me a new coupon code, which isn't an affiliate code. It's just CherylH at checkout. I know Valentine's Day is coming up, so if you're looking for watches like this, I know I picked up one for my husband, a silver version, which I post on Instagram. These are awesome watches. Another priming product, well, this isn't a primer per se, but I recently picked this up from Beautylish, and I do use it underneath my foundation, like some of the moisturizers and things I'm going to share with you. This is the Cover FX Clear Cover Invisible Sunscreen Broad Spectrum SPF 30. I love wearing a 30 sunscreen on my face. Whenever my moisturizer doesn't have a sunscreen, I like to put one on like this. So this is what I'm using right now, and it's actually great as a primer because it has a smoothing type feel to the skin. So I have been really loving this. I found this on Beautylish, as I said. I wasn't able to purchase this from Sephora, or else I would have to get my points and all that, but this has been working out really great for me. I was thinking about doing a Beautylish haul and showing you all the things I picked up. I picked up some Charlotte Tilbury and stuff, so let me know in the comments if you want to see that. But this is one of those new products that I have been loving, has sunscreen in it, so it's great for applying if your moisturizer or makeup doesn't have it. Let's do a couple drugstore ones. I have two from CoverGirl, which I'm going to talk about. The first is the Simply Ageless Anti-Aging Foundation Primer. This is like a drugstore version of the Hourglass, I find. It works the same way for me. I love this. I never hear anyone talk about it but me. It is absolutely amazing. This combined with my Maybelline Blur and Smooth, they were my favorite drugstore primers. So definitely keeping that one. And then one that was meh, didn't really work for me, didn't really not work, it was just kind of there, you know what I mean? This is the CoverGirl Outlast All Day Primer. I haven't used this too much, however, I have other CoverGirl and drugstore primers, which I do like more, so I'm definitely going to be passing this on to someone who can use it. Two NYX primers I wanted to talk about. I have the NYX Honey Do Me Up. On the bottle it says honey is a natural antiseptic. Gold flakes increases skin radiance, collagen for smoother skin. I thought this would be a good little dupe for the Guerlain primer, which I haven't talked about yet, which is right here. You guys can see that. This one is much more sticky. This just didn't work out for me. I just didn't feel like the foundation on top looked its best using this. So I'm definitely going to pass this along. I know a few people actually really like this, so I'm sure someone else will get better use out of it. I just didn't personally care for it. And then a primer that I love is the NYX Angel Veil Skin Perfecting Primer. This is also a really good dupe for the Hourglass one. So I'm definitely going to be keeping this for a drugstore alternative to that Hourglass one. Because we were speaking of the Guerlain one, I'm going to talk about it now. This is the Lure, which is the gold primer. Has the gold flecks in this. I was reading more up about gold in skincare and heard it wasn't that great, so I actually have a little regret for purchasing this, which I was going to save this to talk about products I regret purchasing. I was thinking about doing that kind of video if you guys want to see that. I did initially like it with the foundation I was using it with. However, for a lot of other foundations, just like that NYX one, I just didn't find my foundation really did much on top of it. So it's one of those things, you know, I feel like this works for a lot of people. For me, it did for the one foundation I was using it with. However, I just haven't been reaching for it. So I think I might pass this along or give it another try. It was so pricey, I feel like I should give it another try, but I don't know. Let me know what you think of this primer in the comment section below. If you love it, hate it, let me know. Then I have two primers from Urban Decay. They sent over 3. I already actually passed on the other one, which was for oily skin. These are the 2 I decided to keep. I have the Self-Adjusting Complexion Primer. It has Adapting Pigments Soft Focus Effect. And then I have the Urban Decay Optical Illusion Complexion Primer, which has Smoothing, Rosehip, and Argan Oil. If you guys watch my channel or my favorites videos, you know I love the Optical Illusion one. I've used this one a couple times. I can safely say I don't feel like, I don't know, it's as good as this. For sure it's not as good as this, but just good enough to keep. I do like it. I just feel like because I have so many, I feel someone else would really like to use this. So I'm definitely going to pass this along to family or friend. Keep this one because I love it, because I feel, even though this is good, I just feel like someone else could get better use. Now we have the Tarte, what is the official name of this? This is the Clean Slate Timeless Smoothing Primer. It looks like this. Primers are a hard thing to show you on the skin unless it has some kind of something in it, you know, like those stroke creams. You guys actually recommend I purchase this, and I use this almost every day underneath my eyes just a little bit and on my problem areas where I have pores. Love this stuff. Highly recommend it. I think it's a great pore filling one for those with drier skin or aging skin. So definitely check out the Clean Slate Timeless Smoothing Primer. If you're either of those, I highly recommend it. Now I'm going to talk about Smashbox. I have 3 to share with you. I have the Smashbox Photo Finish Primer Oil, and I love this stuff for the winter. It's really great at hydrating the skin. It's an oil that doesn't stay oily on your skin. So like that serum primer from Hourglass, which I felt kind of just sat on top of my skin, this actually seeps in and it doesn't affect the consistency of my foundations, but it also adds that hydration that I'm looking for. So 100% going to keep this. This is great for the winter for me. Then one of my absolute favorite primers from Smashbox is the Pore Minimizing. This is one of my favorite primers of all time. And this is another great one that's more hydrating than another pore filling one I'm going to talk about, which is great for now when I have drier skin. This is their Pore Minimizing one. So definitely a favorite. I've used quite a bit. It's already getting an indent in it. So definitely going to keep this one. And then another Smashbox one, which was recently sent to me. If you saw my most recent New in Beauty video, it's the Smashbox Photo Finish Foundation Primer, the hydrating option. And I love this one. I also love the original one, but I like these ones more that are geared toward my specific skin type. The other one is great, love it. However, I do prefer a hydrating one and a pore filling one. If you watch my channel, those are my 2 favorite types of primers because I like to use both. So I'm definitely keeping both of these. two primers from Makeup Revolution that I haven't given too much of a chance. This is the Pro Base. It is a blur primer illumination base. So I want to use this a little bit more. I think I used it once and wasn't like blown away by it, but it wasn't bad. I just don't remember it, you know. It's one of those ones that I just don't really remember. So I'm going to keep it, try it a couple more times, see how it goes. And then I also have this to do a comparison between the MAC Strobe Cream. This is their Ultra Strobe Cream. And I'm doing a MAC dupes video, but I'm doing it a little differently. I'm actually going to do a wear test of MAC dupes and do a side-by-side comparison to see if the dupes, though they look exactly like it, are actually wear the exact same time. Because I think that's the deal breaker for me. Because you could have a really great dupe, but it just might not perform up to the high-end version. So that's what I'm going to do with this. Let me know if you guys want to see that video. I think it would be a really good one. I've been putting things aside for that. So this is definitely one of those ones that I'll be testing in the future. A primer that I'm going to be passing on is the Bare Minerals Primetime Foundation Primer. It is their neutralizing one. You can see it's a yellow tone. This is great if you have redness in your skin. This is really thick and it just didn't look nice on my skin. I don't have too much redness. And I don't know what it was about this. It was just the thickness that really put me off of it. I know a few people who really do like this, so I'm going to pass this along to them. But for me personally, just didn't work out, though I know a lot of people swear by this. Not for me. Then I have a bunch of samples of the Dr. Brandt Pores No More Pore Refining Primer. I always pick up these samples. This is one of my favorite primers of all time, if not my favorite. I said that about another one, but this is definitely up there. And this is great if you have larger pores and oily skin. That's why I like to use my Smashbox one for when I'm drier. This is great for those with oily skin. So if you have a problem T-zone like I do sometimes with pores and oils, then I will put this on those areas in the summer. Hands down the best pore refining one. But sometimes I do find it's a little too much for my dry skin, though it's one of the best on the market in my opinion. So always pick up samples, keeping both of these. I go through these quite fast. And then another pore refining one is from Maybelline. It's their Baby Skin. It's their Instant Pore Eraser. I really liked this one until I came across that other one. Where is it? Until I came across this guy, which I already said I'm keeping. So I don't need two Maybelline pore primers, so I'm going to be giving this one away, even though I really did like it at the time. I just feel like this guy is better. Then we have the very popular L'Oreal Magic Lumi Light Infusing Primer. I liked this when I first had it, but now that I've tried other light infusing primers, I feel like this one just has too much glow to it. Let me show you. For me, it is beautiful, but it just has a little too much for me, which is surprising. I do gravitate now towards other primers like this. So ones that have a more gold base instead of this very pearly base, because I find this to be a little too much sometimes, especially when I have a tan. I don't have too much of this product left, so I'm going to keep it just for times when I may need to use this. However, I just like other things now. If you do love this kind of pearlescent type thing, you're gonna love this primer. Just for me now with my, I don't know, just for me now, it's just a little too much, I feel. Next I have the Korres Nourishing Primer with Greek Yogurt. I'm going to pass this along. I don't do dairy in general, so I think someone else will really enjoy this. I love Korres products. I just have other primers that I like more, so I'm going to pass this along to a family or friend. A primer that I've actually never even opened yet is from Ofra. It's their Silicone Priming Gel. I'm not a huge fan of super silicone-y primers. I do like them from time to time. I just can't see myself honestly reaching for this. If I open it to try it, it would just be like having to give away to family or friend. So I'm going to save this all packaged up and donate it to my local women's shelter because they only now take unopened makeup. So I like to save a few items that I receive from time to time for them. So I have a bag I've been collecting. So I'm just going to put this away for donation, and hopefully one of those women like this one. Next, I have my NARS Pro Prime Light Optimizing Primer with SPF 15. This used to be one of my favorite primers of all time. I think it was my 2015 favorite primer. I haven't reached for this in a while, so I definitely want to use it again soon because I remember how much I did love it. I'm not getting rid of this, as you guys can tell. It was really good. Next, I have another skin refining primer. Surprise, surprise. This one's from Neutrogena. And I've used it a couple times. I find there's other primers from the drugstore that are better that I like that Maybelline one. So I'm going to pass this along to someone else who can use it. Next, I have a sample of the Laura Mercier foundation primer. And I love the Laura Mercier primers. I remember having one with Radiance that I went through multiple ones of. So I saved this, haven't used it, haven't opened it. So I just have it in there for future. I'm gonna hold on to this one because I do want to try it again. Next, I have the Illamasqua Hydra Veil, which is an interesting consistency. I used to use this more than I do now. It looks like it hasn't even been touched just because of the consistency of it. I did like this because it is quite hydrating. So I'm going to keep this because it's probably needs to be used up soon. So yeah, this needs to be used up soon. I'm not going to pass it on to anyone. I'm just going to use it a little bit more and then probably end up tossing it. My last primer I have is the Pixi Flawless and Poreless. This is the Pore Illuminating Primer. And I love this stuff. I haven't used it for a while though. Pore minimizing, shine-free, hydrating. Doesn't get much better than that for all skin types. I'm gonna have to use this again on my channel, but I remember really liking this stuff. It just needs to go to the top of my primer drawer so I can see it. Next, I have a bunch of oils and moisturizers that I wanted to share with you guys that can act as primers for me. This is the Embryolisse Lake Cream Concentrate. So this expires in January of 2018 is what it says. So I need to start using this. I used to have this in my freelance kit, and since I haven't been freelancing so much, I'm going to pull it out and use it on myself. It's really great for those with severely dehydrated skin, and it worked as a primer as well. So I'm gonna keep this. This is a moisturizer I used to use a while ago. It's almost done. It has an SPF of 15. I found this good for underneath my makeup. This is the Cetaphil Daily Facial Moisturizer. However, I'm almost done this. It's probably expired. It's just been sitting in there. Yeah, it's definitely expired. So this is going to be tossed. I don't honestly have that much left, maybe like that much. So not missing out there. This is another daily moisturizer that I thought was really great underneath makeup. It's the Andalou Naturals. I love this brand for skincare if you're looking for something more natural, organic, vegan and cruelty-free. It's gluten-free. It's like everything free. So if you're looking for something like that, I purchased my Andalou off of Vitacost. So they have some really great skincare that I swear by. You can wear alone or under makeup. That's what I would do with this. So love this stuff. I have a bunch left. You guys don't see me use this on my channel. It's like dirty. It's like has that NARS packaging, but it's white. So it gets really dirty quite easily. This is something I would just use on a daily prior to even filming tutorials. So love this stuff. Then an oil that I love is this Olay Regenerist facial oil. I like this as a drugstore option for putting some oil into my foundation. So if I'm doing something like that, where I just want a drugstore alternative to my other more pricey oils, then I keep this around for that. So I do like it for a drugstore affordable option. This guy, Glam Glow Glow Starter, the Mega Illuminating Moisturizer. I like this when I first apply it on my skin, but my skin eats this up. It loses its luminosity. It looks amazing when you first apply it. However, when you apply a foundation over top, which is what I intended it for, it really doesn't do much, to be honest. I am going to use this up. I'm not going to pass it on. I go through moisturizers actually quite quickly, and this is something that I personally will use more so in the summer, I'd say, when I'm not wearing any kind of foundation, because that's when I really feel you can see the glow that this has. You can see right there. Has a really wonderful orange creamsicle scent. So this is definitely going to be more for the summer for me, so I'm going to use it up then. It doesn't work for me under foundation like I had initially intended. I probably will never repurchase this, to be honest, but I will definitely use this up. Another great moisturizer for underneath your makeup is the Bobbi Brown Vitamin Enriched Face Base. This can be a little too heavy for me at times, even though I have dry skin. It's thick, I'm telling you. Very, very thick. So this is beautiful underneath foundation. It really does its job at hydrating, so I'm going to be keeping this. I have actually been using this a lot lately prior to makeup. Then my last priming product is this Tatcha Camellia Gold Beauty Oil. It has those gold flakes in it, which I'm steering clear of now. However, I do still really love this oil. I'll apply it on my lips if it needs some hydration, on my skin. I'll add this into foundation. You name it, I love to use it for all that kind of stuff. So I'm definitely going to be keeping this guy. It was quite pricey. I do love it. However, I probably wouldn't repurchase this in the future. There are other oils that work just as good that are cheaper for me personally. I love Tatcha as a brand. I think they have some amazing products. This is just one of the ones that I don't think is worth the price. Apart from the Guerlain primer, I plan on keeping 33 of the 48 primers that I have. And then for giving away, I will be giving away 10 of the 48 primers to family and friends. I did have to toss one. It was almost empty, so it wasn't too big of a deal. I do try to do this often enough that that doesn't happen. And then I also will be donating 3 of my 48 primers. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. Please give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys in my next video.